Do you truly believe that God and the universe want to see you prosper? Have you ever stopped to think about this deeply? Because if your answer was, I don't know, or I don't think so, you may be living trapped in beliefs that are keeping you from true prosperity. And don't worry, you're not alone. Many people have been taught since childhood that desiring money is wrong, that seeking a comfortable life is selfish, that wealth and spirituality don't mix. But what if all this is a lie we've been told? Throughout life, we carry invisible burdens. One of them is guilt. Guilt for wanting more. Guilt for not being content with less. Guilt for desiring financial abundance, even though we know we're being fair, ethical, and dignified in every step. But here's a truth that can change the way you see everything. Prosperity is not a sin, it is purpose. Yes, you heard that right. Thriving is not only allowed, it's part of God's plan for you. Think about it. What sense would it make for a loving God, a generous universe, to create a human being full of gifts, abilities, and dreams, only to survive in scarcity? The answer lies within you, but to access it, you need to free your mind and heart from distorted concepts. And that's precisely what we'll do together in this video. Stay with me until the end, because what you'll discover now may surprise you, and perhaps even move you. Have you ever felt bad about making money a goal in your life? Have you ever thought that by doing so, you were being less spiritual? How many times have you unconsciously sabotaged yourself, afraid of being judged or losing your connection with God by prospering? Well, know this. Wanting money, wanting abundance, wanting to live freely is not a sign of selfishness. It's a sign of awareness. Awareness that you are a child of creation and, as such, were made to expand, to live your best life, to flourish, and not just on the spiritual plane, but also on the material plane. Of course, prosperity goes far beyond money, but ignoring money as part of the journey is like denying the soil while trying to plant a tree. Financial abundance is a tool, and when used consciously, it becomes a bridge between who you are today and what you can build, help, and transform in the world. And here comes a powerful point. God and the universe do not punish those who seek to prosper with truth in their hearts. They propel, they open doors, they respond to your vibration, your intentions, your choices. And the more you align with this energy, the more the flow of prosperity manifests, with lightness, purpose, and peace. You may not have realized it yet, but there are invisible patterns shaping the way you relate to money. And understanding this could be the key to unlocking something powerful in your life. So take a deep breath now, and allow yourself to listen to what comes next with an open heart. Because we're just getting started, and the journey to reconnect your soul to the prosperity that's already rightfully yours begins now. And perhaps, as you listen to all this, you're feeling something stir inside you, an uneasiness, a memory, an old desire to change something, or even a hope that seemed dormant, beginning to awaken again. And if this topic resonates with you, if at any point in this conversation something touched you, leave it here in the comments. It could be a feeling, a memory, or even a question that still pulsates within you. Your experience may resonate with others who are also seeking this path of reconnection with true prosperity. And I read everything. I truly do. Because this space here is more than a channel. It's a meeting place for souls who are tired of scarcity and ready to flourish. And take the opportunity to like this video. It makes a huge difference, more than you might think. When you like it, YouTube understands that this content is relevant and shows it to more people who, like you, need to hear this message. And if you feel this journey doesn't end here, that there's more to learn, more to feel, more to awaken, subscribe to the channel, because that's how we move forward together, one step at a time, one frequency at a time. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more hearts ready to transform their lives. And now that you've taken this first step, I want to take you even deeper, because there are invisible blocks that may be holding back your flow of abundance, and they need to be recognized, illuminated, and dissolved. We'll talk about that next. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because there's a hidden truth that, for a long time, has been hidden or misinterpreted. The idea that, to be a spiritual person, you need to give up money. This belief, disguised as humility or detachment, has left many good people trapped in a pattern of scarcity that has absolutely nothing to do with divine principles. And perhaps you grew up hearing this, that money corrupts, that those who get rich distance themselves from God, that desiring comfort is synonymous with selfishness. But what if it's exactly the opposite? Look around. Everything in the universe was created in abundance. The sky doesn't have a single star. The sea doesn't carry a single wave. The tree doesn't bear a single fruit. Nature is, in itself, a reflection of creation's generosity. And if God created all this with such an excess of beauty, abundance, and resources, why would He limit you? Why should the most conscious being in creation live limited, surviving, afraid to ask, to dream, to grow? The truth is, you've been taught to accept little, but that's not faith, it's conditioning. The true spiritual path isn't about renouncing material blessings, but about knowing how to use them purposefully and wisely. It's about not being dominated by money, but also not rejecting it as something dirty, because when money is in the hands of people connected to goodness, it becomes an instrument of light, of healing, of real impact. And it's not me saying this. The Bible itself contains numerous references to abundance as something desirable and worthy. Solomon, for example, was known for his wisdom, yes, but also for the wealth he accumulated without guilt. And Jesus, by multiplying the loaves and fishes, showed that scarcity is not the plan, multiplication is. At no point was the message, be content with little. On the contrary, what we see is an invitation to active faith, to trust in a God who provides, who expands, who transforms. But to access this abundance, change begins within, because prosperity doesn't manifest where the mind is still trapped in fear, shame, or distorted entitlement. You need to rethink the beliefs you hold, those phrases repeated at home, in churches, in schools. Money doesn't bring happiness. Those who want too much end up losing everything. Better to have little and be honest. Have you ever heard any of these? And how? Many of them have actually helped you. What no one tells you is that these phrases shape a mindset that unwittingly rejects the very flow of the universe. Because money, after all, is energy. It responds to your vibration, to what you believe is possible, to how much you allow yourself to receive. It's not about greed, it's about empowerment. Do you allow yourself to prosper? Do you allow yourself to live with more? Or do you still harbor that feeling that you'll displease God or others by achieving something greater? This is the turning point. When you understand that there is no conflict between spirituality and abundance, everything changes. Because you stop sabotaging yourself, you stop hiding your dreams, you begin to act with courage and faith, knowing that you are not betraying your essence, but rather honoring what was planned for you from the beginning. Prospering doesn't mean deviating from the spiritual path. It means walking more firmly on it, with resources, structure, and the ability to transform what surrounds you. Comment here. That makes sense to me. Just so I know you're with me on this journey of awareness and reconnection with what's rightfully yours. And hold on tight, because there's more powerful stuff coming. There's a point that many people confuse when talking about prosperity, and that's exactly what I want to show you now. Prosperity isn't simply about having money. Of course, money is important. It brings comfort, freedom of choice, peace of mind. But reducing prosperity to financial values is limiting a concept that is actually much broader, deeper, and truer. True prosperity happens when all areas of your life are in harmony. It's when your mind finds peace, your body responds with health, your heart feels on the right path, and your finances reflect this inner harmony. It's a state of balance where everything begins to flow more naturally, more smoothly, and more aligned with who you truly are. Prosperity, in this sense, is a complete experience, not an isolated outcome. Just imagine, you can have a full bank account, but live with anxiety, physical pain, broken relationships, and emotional emptiness. Is this prosperity, or is it just financial wealth without support? Likewise, there are people who live with fewer resources, but are at peace with themselves, with vibrant energy and a light heart. Of course, the ideal isn't to live in scarcity, but this comparison serves to show that money alone isn't enough to fill everything. That's why we need to start looking at prosperity as a set of factors. Your emotional health, for example, directly impacts your ability to attract good opportunities. The way you care for your body impacts your energy and willingness to carry out your projects. And your spiritual connection fuels the clarity of your decisions and helps you stay on track. Everything is connected. And when you begin to see this, something changes within you. Your mindset begins to transform. You stop chasing things desperately and start attracting them consciously. Because prosperity can't be forced. It's built from within. It's as if it were a reflection of your internal organization, of your coherence with what you believe, feel, and live. And this transformation often comes when we begin to address areas that had been neglected. It starts small, a different choice in your day, a limit you begin to impose, a thought you question, a feeling you embrace. These subtle movements, repeated with intention, create waves of change. And that's how you begin to see things flow. Relationships are renewed, doors open, ideas gain momentum, opportunities appear, not by chance, but because you're vibrating at a frequency more aligned with true prosperity. The key is to understand that money is neither the villain nor the hero of your story. It's just a messenger. It shows you where things are flowing well and where there's still room for improvement. And when you look at it consciously, without fear or attachment, it stops being a burden and becomes an ally. If you are feeling that this vision of prosperity speaks to something inside you, right there. I'm on this journey too, because this space is made for those who are tired of living only half-heartedly and are ready to integrate all aspects of their lives. And from here on, there's an essential element of your vibration that begins to change everything. There's something happening all the time, even when you're not paying attention. Your energy is communicating with the world around you. Every thought you entertain, every emotion you hold for too long, every decision you make, all of this emits a signal, and this signal has a frequency. Just as you notice when someone enters a room and has a good vibe, or vice versa, money also responds to this kind of vibration. It's not a mystical theory. It's a refined perception of reality. The frequency of money is linked to expansion, freedom, trust, and circulation. Money thrives on movement. It doesn't feel comfortable in environments of fear, retention, guilt, or emotional scarcity. This is why, so often, highly capable people, with good intentions and even constant effort, fail to prosper. It's not a lack of worthiness. It's simply a matter of energetic misalignment. When your vibration is at odds with the natural flow of abundance, everything seems more difficult, more time-consuming, more tiring. It's like trying to swim against the current. You move, but with exaggerated effort. But when you learn to flow in the same direction as the energy of prosperity, everything becomes lighter, more coherent. Things begin to connect more easily. Opportunities arise without logical explanation, and you feel more at peace with what you do and with what you receive. Consider a simple situation. Days when you're feeling well, light, and at peace, everything seems to be working. Traffic flows smoothly, people are kinder, money appears in unexpected ways. On days when you're tense, afraid, or insecure, even things that would work seem to stall. This is no coincidence. This is vibrational frequency in action. Money, being an energy of exchange, is constantly in tune with how you handle it. If you reject it, criticize it, or associate it with pain and suffering, it moves away. If you embrace it as a tool for purpose, growth, and service, it moves closer. It's as if it's always listening to what you feel when you think of it and acting in response. You don't have to blindly believe this now. Just observe. Notice the moments when you thrived most. How were you feeling? What was your mindset? And the moments when everything felt stuck. What emotions dominated your days? The truth reveals itself in practice, in the silent impact of your daily emotions. And when you understand this pattern, you begin to realize that the key isn't out there, it's within you. Cultivating thoughts of gratitude, for example, isn't just a nice practice. It's a way to activate this frequency. When you sincerely acknowledge what you already have, you send the universe a signal that you're ready for more. And the amazing thing is that you don't need to perform grand rituals. Change begins with attention, with presence, with small but conscious choices. If this awakens something inside you, write in the comments, "This makes sense to me." Sometimes, all we need is a new perspective to reclaim our power. And now that this perception has begun to open up, there's another invisible but essential point that may also be blocking the flow of your prosperity. There's something silent yet extremely powerful that directly influences your relationship with prosperity, your inner self. No matter how much you read, study, or desire a better life, if deep down there's an invisible resistance, the flow of abundance finds no way. And it's not punishment, it's not chastisement, it's respect. Because the universe, like God, never invades the space of a consciousness that isn't yet ready to receive. You have the free will to open yourself to the flow of abundance or close yourself off to it. And this choice often lies not in the words you speak, but in the emotions you harbor, the beliefs you defend, the stories you insist on repeating. It may seem subtle, but it's profound. It's that feeling of undeservingness that arises when something good arrives. It's the discomfort of receiving without guilt. It's the difficulty of accepting that, yes, you can prosper and still remain a spiritual person, whole and connected to goodness. This is one of the hidden truths about prosperity. It requires you to truly say yes with your body, mind, and soul, because the universe responds to your inner state, not your superficial desires. It doesn't move by will alone. It moves by coherence. And when you begin to align what you feel with what you ask for, something changes, subtly but transformatively. This is where many people get lost. They ask for prosperity, but vibrate with fear. They pray for abundance, but keep saying, it's hard for everyone. They visualize wealth, but feel guilty just imagining a comfortable life. This internal conflict, even if not consciously perceived, creates a barrier. It's as if you're planting a seed, but at the same time, watering it with doubt every day. Growth doesn't happen, not because the soil is bad, but because care is misaligned. God, in His essence, is generosity. He doesn't want to see you suffering, trapped by limitations, living half-heartedly. He gave you free will precisely so you can choose which reality you want to experience. And this applies to everything: relationships, health, career, finances. Nothing is imposed on you. Everything responds to your position. But it's important to understand that opening yourself to prosperity doesn't mean becoming passive, waiting for everything to fall from the sky. It means moving with awareness, with active faith, with decisions aligned with your desired experience. It's saying yes with action, with intention, with courage. It's building within yourself a space where the new can enter, where money, opportunities, and the right connections feel welcome. Do you see how everything starts within you? It's as if there's a door that can only be opened from within. The universe is ready. God has already said yes. Now it's up to you to choose clearly. And this isn't just about positive thinking. It's about taking command of your frequency, your choices, your truth. If this idea touched something inside you, comment there. I'm choosing to open the door. Because recognizing this power is already part of the transformation. And there's one more detail in this whole process. Something that blocks this flow without you even realizing it. There's something that often goes unnoticed, but that could be completely blocking the flow of your prosperity. Small daily actions you repeat without realizing it. They have nothing to do with how hard you work, nor how much you pray or meditate, but with the type of energy you're feeding behind the scenes of your emotional routine. And among so many, there are three that act most powerfully: resentment, fear, and self-sabotage. Resentment is one of the heaviest burdens anyone can carry. It seems harmless, almost justifiable. After all, who hasn't been hurt by someone who hurt, deceived, or didn't recognize their worth? But when you harbor resentment, you trap your energy in the past. It's as if a part of you is frozen in something that's already passed, and this prevents the flow of new blessings. You may not even realize it, but while you carry hurt, you also carry a vibration that says, I'm still stuck in this. And money, which needs space to circulate, simply doesn't find passage in a constricted heart. Now think about fear. It's a natural defense mechanism, of course, but when it becomes constant, it starts to act as a barrier. Fear of taking risks, fear of failing, fear of losing what little you have. This mindset creates a protective field that, in practice, becomes isolation. And when you isolate yourself energetically, you also disconnect from the flow of abundance. Because fear paralyzes, it prevents you from making bold decisions, from saying yes to new opportunities, from trusting the movement of life. And what doesn't move stagnates. Self-sabotage, on the other hand, is even more subtle. It often disguises itself as caution or realism. It's that inner voice telling you you're not ready yet, that maybe you don't deserve that much, that if you try, you'll be disappointed. And so you postpone projects, turn down proposals, and make excuses. But life doesn't wait. And when you get used to sabotaging yourself, you end up creating a reality where everything seems difficult, slow, and blocked. But the truth is, it's not the world that's against you. It's you who, unintentionally, is holding yourself back. These three patterns, resentment, fear, and self-sabotage, act as invisible blocks. And the most striking thing is that they often go hand in hand. A hurt person feels insecure, and out of fear, begins to sabotage themselves. The result? A seemingly endless cycle of scarcity. But when you begin to recognize these patterns, something within you changes. Because awareness is the first step toward transformation. You can't change what you pretend not to see. But when you face it head on, when you name what you feel, you begin to regain control of your journey. And it's at this point that true healing begins. It's not about eliminating fear or forgetting hurts overnight. It's about consciously choosing to stop feeding those frequencies, deciding every day to vibrate differently. And little by little, you'll notice a new lightness, a kind of clarity that wasn't there before, as if, finally, the path is beginning to open. If this resonated with you, comment there. I'm clearing the blockages, because only those who have felt blocked know the relief of starting to free themselves from the inside out. And now that you understand what's blocking you, it's worth taking a closer look at what can restore the flow. Effort isn't always what's missing. Sometimes, what's missing is reconnection, because you may be doing everything, chasing, trying, taking action, but still feeling distant from prosperity. And when this happens, it's a clear sign that something inside you has become disconnected from the source. Not the source of money itself, but the source of abundance, that creative intelligence, invisible, silent, yet deeply present in all that exists. When you realign with this source, no matter where you are now, things begin to fall into place. This process doesn't require perfection. It doesn't require a complex ritual, nor does it require you to change everything overnight. What it requires is presence, its intention, its truth in what you cultivate every day. And this reconnection happens in the simplest, yet also most powerful moments of your routine. Like, for example, when you wake up. What you say to yourself first thing in the morning determines how often you start your day. Instead of opening your eyes already worried, tense, or rushed, try a different choice. A simple phrase, "Today I am ready to receive the good that awaits me." This alone is an energetic statement. It's an affirmation of openness. It's a key turning within. Gratitude is another direct bridge to this source. But I'm not talking about automatic, rehearsed gratitude. I'm talking about felt gratitude, the kind that manifests itself in the details, in a glass of fresh water, in more conscious breathing, in the warmth of the sun beating down on your skin. When you begin to recognize what you already have, without rushing to want more, you send the universe a very clear message. I honor what I have been given, and the energy of abundance, which responds to honor and not to demands, naturally approaches. Prayer on this path is not a list of requests. It's a conversation, a space for listening, a surrender. It's there that you reconnect with your origin, with God, with the divine, not to beg, but to align. It's in this space that you remember who you are and how much you are part of something greater. And when you remember this, it's impossible not to feel more whole, more confident, more prepared to receive what is rightfully yours. And then there's silence. This is often the most challenging. Because we live in a world of excess, of noise, distractions, and urgencies, but it's in silence that truth reveals itself. It's where your intuition speaks, clarity emerges, the field clears, the soul breathes. You don't always need external answers. Sometimes you just need a space to feel what's already there inside, waiting to be heard. These practices, when done with presence, begin to shift your frequency. You stop acting out of scarcity and start acting out of trust. And that makes all the difference. Opportunities keep coming, but now you can see them. Paths open, and you feel ready to walk them. Not because everything is perfect, but because you've returned to your center. You've returned to the source. And from there, everything can be recreated. Comment here. I'm going back to my source. If this part of the conversation reminded you of something you'd overlooked. Because sometimes what was missing wasn't a new solution. It was just remembering where it all began. And there's one more powerful detail about this journey that still needs to be revealed. There are times when life begins to change so subtly that you don't even notice it right away. Things don't arrive with fireworks or grand announcements, but rather in details that go unnoticed when the mind is agitated or focused solely on the end result. And that's precisely where one of the greatest revelations of this journey lies. Prosperity doesn't arrive like an explosion. It approaches with signs, small, silent, but extremely powerful. Have you ever felt a different kind of peace, as if something had clicked into place, even though nothing had changed on the outside? Have you ever woken up on ordinary days with the feeling that something good was coming, without knowing why? Or started noticing that specific people appeared with ideas, connections, or words that seemed tailor-made for you at that moment? This isn't a coincidence. These are clear signs that you're entering the frequency of prosperity. And the curious thing is that, at first, these manifestations don't feel like money flowing into your account or great material achievements. They feel like mental clarity, a heightened intuition, an emotional relief you didn't even know you needed. It's that feeling of lightness that comes for no apparent reason, as if the air were lighter, as if time had paused, as if you were finally breathing at the right rhythm of life. These are the first impacts of the vibrational shift. And this is where many people get confused, thinking nothing is happening, because they don't see the money yet. They don't see the new job, the dream house, the positive balance. But what's happening behind the scenes is much deeper than that. It's an internal restructuring, as if the gears of your energy are adjusting, preparing the ground for everything you've asked for to actually arrive. And do you know what the biggest mistake is at this point? Ignoring these signs, thinking they're just coincidences, disbelieving your own intuition. Because when you discount small advances, you interrupt the flow. It's as if you're saying, this isn't enough. And the universe, which works with energetic reciprocity, understands that you're not yet ready to receive more. So when these synchronicities begin to emerge, unexpected encounters, ideas that appear at just the right time, invitations that open paths, or even just that feeling that something good is about to happen, observe them, embrace them, and be grateful. Because these are the first rays of sunshine after a long period of internal cloudiness. They are signs that you are becoming compatible with what has long been in your field, just waiting for your permission to manifest. And the more you recognize these signs, the more they increase. The frequency of prosperity responds to your attentiveness, to your appreciation of the process. It's not about living on expectations, but about staying present enough to notice what's already unfolding. Each small confirmation is like a step closer to the scenario you so deeply envision. Life begins to cooperate. Opportunities no longer arise as exceptions, but as a natural response to your inner state. And when this happens, you no longer need to desperately chase them, because everything begins to flow coherently. People, situations, ideas, resources, everything comes more organically, more aligned, and more effortlessly. And perhaps now you realize something no one ever told you. True abundance isn't what you achieve in the future. It's the frequency you sustain in the present. It's the state you live in while everything unfolds in its own time. When you're in this vibration, even silence becomes an answer. Even waiting becomes a path. Comment here. I already feel the signs if you've begun to notice these subtle movements in your own journey. Because recognizing this is more than observing. It's recognizing that something new is already moving within and without you. And this is still just the beginning of an even deeper revelation that is about to emerge. Have you ever stopped to think that money, at its core, is not an end, but a means? It's a tool, a way to make our intentions concretely materialize in the world. Wealth isn't just about accumulation. It's about the power to impact, to serve, to help. Every time you prosper, you not only elevate your life, but also open doors for others to access a better life. The more you have, the more you can help. And this applies not just to money, but to everything you possess in abundance, be it time, love, knowledge, or resources. Money, when used purposefully, becomes an extension of your ability to act in the world. It allows you to live your mission with greater structure, support causes you believe in, help those around you, and engage in projects that have the power to transform lives. And when you begin to see money this way, your relationship with it changes completely. It ceases to be an obstacle, a worry, a source of anxiety, and becomes an ally to your purpose. The problem isn't wanting to prosper. The problem is not understanding that prospering is an opportunity to expand the good you are and do in the world. Because contrary to what many think, money doesn't make people bad. It reveals what's already inside them. And if you have a heart for transformation, prosperity becomes a vehicle of light, illuminating not only your path but the paths of others. When you thrive, you gain more freedom. Freedom to create, freedom to give, freedom to learn and teach, freedom to live according to your true essence. But most importantly, prosperity allows you to be a catalyst for real change. And this goes far beyond any number in your bank account. You can be the key that opens doors for others. You can be the inspiration for those in need. You can be the support someone has been waiting for. It's like a cycle of reciprocity. The more you align with this prosperity mindset, the more it expands. And as it grows, you begin to notice that the world around you also begins to transform. Every small action, every decision aligned with your purpose creates a domino effect. You not only receive more, but you give more. And when you understand that thriving is serving, your impact on the world becomes exponential. It's not about accumulating for yourself, but about expanding to others. This is why true prosperity is not selfish. It is generous by nature. It looks at the whole, not just the individual. It is an energy that spreads, that benefits those around you, that creates a network of support, growth, and mutual evolution. When you thrive consciously, the world becomes a better, more just, more harmonious place. Because you are no longer trapped in a limited vision of scarcity. You understand that everything you have was given to you to share, so that you can be part of the process of healing and transformation. Now, as you reflect on this, you begin to realize that prosperity is not a luxury, nor something exclusive to a select few. It is a right of all who seek to live their truth and fulfill their mission. Because what is available to you is also available to others. Money, time, energy, everything is energy. And the more you learn to flow with this energy, the more you connect to the greater purpose. By seeing money as a divine tool of purpose, you begin to place yourself in the role of transformer. You realize that by prospering, you are creating a much greater impact than you could ever imagine. And now, if you're starting to see this new perspective, if you feel like you're aligned with something bigger and deeper, comment there. I'm on that path too, because understanding that prosperity is service isn't just a starting point. It's the true key to opening the door to abundance in all its forms. And as you enter this new reality, there's a movement you need to make to allow the flow of abundance to happen with even greater clarity and purpose. Now that you've begun to understand the role of money as a divine tool of purpose, it's essential to take a step back and realize that prosperity isn't about achieving something in the future. It's not an achievement to be earned, but rather a reconnection with what has always been rightfully yours. When you connect with the true essence of abundance, you begin to realize that it has always been within your reach. It's not about chasing something you need to achieve. It's about opening your eyes to what is already available. Prosperity isn't a goal. It's a return to your truest nature, to the natural flow the universe intends for you. Prosperity is yours by right, not because you've done something extraordinary or earned it in some special way, but because it's part of the divine plan for you. It's not a reward to be earned, but rather a harmony to be restored. And when you align with this truth, everything begins to fall into place. Wealth, success, opportunities, all emerge as an expression of who you've always been, of what you already have within you, ready to blossom. For many years, you may have been led to believe that prosperity was something distant, a dream only for others. Perhaps you convinced yourself that you weren't destined for great things, or that life would be a constant struggle to simply survive. But now, as you begin to understand the connection between what you have within and what the universe has to offer, you realize that prosperity is much simpler than it seems. It is a state of being, a way of living, of being in harmony with the flow of life, of recognizing your own greatness and allowing yourself to live accordingly. You were born to flourish, not to survive. Survival is a state of struggle, a mindset of scarcity, a belief that limits your ability to see beyond what's right in front of you. But you were created to live in abundance, to create, to make an impact, to leave a legacy. Thriving isn't about settling for the bare minimum. It's not about clinging to limitations. It's about opening yourself to what is rightfully yours, to what the universe has already prepared for you. And the beauty of it all is that when you choose to live in this flow of abundance, you transform not only your life, but also the world around you. Because when you flourish, you inspire others to do the same. When you allow yourself to thrive, you pave the way for others to align with their own prosperity. And so, you become part of a much larger movement, a movement of transformation, of evolution, of generosity, of shared abundance. Are you ready to experience the prosperity that is already rightfully yours? Are you ready to leave behind limitations and enter the flow of what has always been yours? Are you ready to make room for what you deserve? The answer is in your hands, and it's much closer than you think. Comment, "This makes sense to me," if you're ready to reconnect with the prosperity that's always been yours, to live according to what the universe has already prepared for you. Because when you decide to open yourself to this transformation, life begins to respond in ways you never imagined. And with that, the path to prosperity becomes increasingly clear. So, if you've made it this far, it's because something inside you connected with everything we've talked about today. This isn't by chance. If this message touched your heart, let me know in the comments. This message was for me. I'd really love to hear what resonated most with you during this journey. And if you felt this energy was worth continuing to follow, please leave a like, just to encourage our path of growth together. Oh, and if you want to delve deeper into this universe of transformation and prosperity, there's a video right here that complements everything we discussed and will help you take another step on this journey. Click and join me there. Let's continue together. See you later, and remember, you're on the right track.